Okay, welcome back. This time we're going to use the Geometer Sketchpad to look at Lesson 16, Example 2, using my compass and straight edge to apply translation AB to segment P1P2. And then it has a suggestion. And this is on page, what page is this? I think 128? 128 of modules, Module 1. Alright, so I'm just going to go ahead and fire up the Sketchpad. I'm just going to switch over to that. I'm going to fire up a new sketch, so I have that. And if I remember correctly, I've got a little segment here to represent. I'll get a little segment here, so I'm going to use my segment tool to represent AB. So I'll go ahead and put that here, AB. I'll label that up in a few moments. And we also have P1 and P2. It's kind of more of a vertical line, something like that. We can always move those around. Let's try on some labels. So I got A, B, call this one P1 and P2. So to rename, I'm just going to go ahead and double click. I don't want to call C, so I'll call P1. And I'll double click down here, I'll call this P2. And there we go. Alright, so if you saw the exploratory one, we have to do a little trick to do this module. We want to kind of follow the procedure that is suggested. It wants us to go ahead and use the compass tool at a length of AB. So to do that in Sketchpad, we have to do a little bit of trick. I'm just going to use the selection tool. I'm going to go ahead and just select segment AB. I'm going to turn on measure, and I'll go ahead and measure that distance. Then I'm going to do that. So I had P2 selected. I didn't notice that before, so I'm going to go ahead and click off. I'm just going to get AB by itself. I'm going to go ahead and measure that length. So that's what I wanted to do. I'm also going to need a couple other lengths in a couple seconds, so I'm going to need the length between P1 and A1 and maybe P2 and A also. So while I'm doing measurements, maybe I'll just do that. So I'm going to click off, I'm going to select point P1, I'm going to hold down Shift because I like to hold down Shift, select point A1, point A, measure that distance, goes ahead and tells me that. I'm going to select P2, again clear everything, collect in a blank space. Click on P2, hold down Shift, and get point A. Again, some people don't like Shift. I mean, I'm not holding down Shift. I click on this and this, and that'll work too. So you don't necessarily have to click Shift. I like to do it because if I accidentally click in a white space, it doesn't deselect everything. Or if I accidentally click on the wrong thing, I can always click and turn it off. Alright, so I'm just going to measure that up. Measure the distance between P2 and A. So there we got P2 and A. We have those distances because we're going to need those to draw our circles. So first thing I want to do, I guess on P1, I'm going to select this length because that's how far away we have to move. So I'm going to select on measurement AB, and I'm going to select on point P1. I'm going to go ahead and construct a circle by center and radius, so I know that that's how far away my new point, translated point, has to be. And to get the exact coordinate of it, I'm going to also make another circle. I'm going to use the distance from point P1 to A, and I'm just going to draw that circle with center at B. So I'll select, let me deselect everything, select this, select B, go ahead and do a construction of that circle. It's a little tricky there because you see the two intersections. I kind of have to choose the right one, so I'm just going to go ahead and click on my point tool, and I like moving on. You can kind of see the highlight, so I know I'm on this circle. Highlight on the other circle, I know that that's that intersection, and I know that's the one I want. So I have that point, and I can actually use my selection tool. Maybe I'll hold down Shift, and I could actually construct that line if I wanted to make the parallel line. So let's go ahead and do that. So I can kind of see this is parallel to AB. Let's do the same thing on the other point. So I need the distance from AB. Let me click off everything, so I don't have anything. Let me click on that measurement. I'm going to click on P2, the selection tool. I'm going to go ahead and construct that circle. So I know how far away that has to be. I'm going to do the same kind of trick too. I will need to know P2 to A, that distance. So click off. I'm going to go ahead and click to select that distance. I like to hold down Shift and go ahead and select point B. I'll do another construction of that circle. Wow, there's just a lot of stuff right there. So, but I know it's this circle and it's right there. So I could just go ahead and use the tool, but I like to get the point. So I'm just going to go ahead and make sure I'm on the right spot. And I'll just go ahead and select point P2 also. I'll go ahead and construct that line. And I believe it called these Q1 and Q2 these points. So let me just go ahead and label those points for us. Click on this, click on this. Oops, didn't mean to do that. Click on this. I'll double click on the E. We'll call it Q1. We'll call this one Q2. We can actually go ahead and use the selection tool, select that point. This point's already selected. I'll go ahead and construct that segment. So I went ahead and I have point or line segment P1P2 translated to Q1 Q2 using AB. And the nice thing about Sketchpad is I can go ahead and play with some things. I can go ahead and click on point B. I can shorten it up, move it down, and you notice that it still follows that same translation within reason because of the method that we used here. You might notice that these circles kind of intersected in 2 points. If I would have selected this point and tried to translate Q1 down to here, in this case that doesn't work. But as soon as I start doing some crazy things like moving this around a little bit, you might notice that the construction doesn't work so good because mostly because I have to choose the other point. If I went ahead and chose the other point of intersection, we'd be all set. And if I wanted to, I could go ahead and hide some of these circles by just using my select tool. I could go ahead and select a bunch of circles, and then people don't have to see all these tools. If I went ahead and hit display, hide objects, I shouldn't have hid B, but hide B is a problem. Let me undo that. Go ahead and do that again. Sorry. We'll just go ahead and hide some circles. Display, we'll hide those circles. And now I still have point B, and I can go ahead and make some reasonable adjustments. And you can see how the translation gets affected by moving around point B. Or you can move your original ones. Or a segment. Alright, so that's pretty much how I'd accomplish that. Hope you found it helpful. We'll do another one soon.